We're all talking to robots more and more these days, whether it's for customer service or just asking our smart speakers about the weather. But how do you design a chatbot that doesn't make you want to, throw your phone across the room? Well, that's exactly what we're breaking down today, the blueprint for a better conversation.
Come on, let's be honest. Have you ever found yourself slowly and very loudly saying, "Speak" to a representative into your phone? Or maybe typing the same exact question 5 different ways, only to get that lovely "sorry, I don't understand" message? Yeah, we've all been there.
That feeling of frustration, it's pretty much a universal experience. It's inefficient, it's super annoying, and honestly, it just leaves a terrible impression of whatever company you're dealing with. But here's the thing, it really doesn't have to be this way. The huge gap between a helpful bot and a useless one, it all comes down to design. So what's the secret? What actually makes a good one?
Right. So to really get what makes a bot great, we first have to understand why they're suddenly everywhere. Let's dive into what's being called the conversational revolution and figure out why this matters so much right now.
Okay, first things first, let's get on the same page with our terms. We're talking about conversational AI. Now, this isn't just some simple pre-programmed script. No, this is technology that's actually designed for human-like, two-way conversations. It's built to understand your intent, interpret what you're saying, and then respond intelligently, all in real time. And look, this isn't just some small niche trend we're talking about. The global market for conversational AI is projected to absolutely explode, hitting a staggering $49.9 billion by 2030. That's not just growth, that's a massive fundamental shift in how businesses talk to us and how we talk to them.
So why the huge investment? Well, for us, it can mean getting instant, personalized help 24/7. For businesses, it can lead to faster sales. But, one of the biggest drivers is actually the human element. Turns out a whopping 59% of human agents are at risk of burnout. By having good bots automate the simple stuff, it frees up the human experts to solve the really tricky problems that, actually require a human touch.
Okay, so you're sold, right? You want to build a great bot. So where do you start? Well, not with a single line of code. You begin with step 1, strategy. Think of this as the essential blueprint for everything, and I mean everything, that comes next.
I love this quote from Craig Strout at the brand strategy firm Profit. He says that if you skip the strategy, all your design choices just become arbitrary. Basically, random guesses. You're building without a plan, and that, my friends, is the fastest way to create one of those frustrating, unhelpful bots we all hate.
So, the very first strategic question is pretty simple. What is your bot's job? What is its primary function? Is it there for customer support, answering FAQs and fixing problems? Is it a sales and marketing guide walking people through product options? Or is it purely for entertainment? You have to nail down its core purpose before you do anything else. And just as crucial, who are you building this thing for? The tone, the language, the use of emojis, it all has to be tailored to your audience. A chatbot for a Gen Z fashion brand might use slang and GIFs and feel totally authentic. But that exact same personality for, say, a corporate financial firm, it would feel completely bizarre and unprofessional. Okay, so let's move on to step 2 and see how this all connects. Once your strategy is locked in, you get to the really fun part, developing a persona. And honestly, the best way to think about this is that you're literally hiring a digital employee who's going to represent your brand 24/7.
It all starts with something that seems super simple, but is actually a huge deal. Its name. And that choice has real consequences. A human-sounding name, like Jim, can make it feel friendly, like a support agent. But you absolutely have to be transparent that it's a bot, otherwise people get confused. On the other hand, a branded name like Samsung's Bixby makes it clear it's a piece of tech, which is honest but maybe feels a little less personal. It's a strategic trade-off.
And this is how you make that persona real. It's a style guide, a detailed rule book for the bot's voice. What phrases would it use? What words would it never say? So for example, you can see here this bot is programmed to use collaborative words like let's and direct words like need, but it avoids formal corporate jargon like allows or require. Every single word choice helps build a consistent, believable character.
All right, so your strategy is set, your persona is defined, now it's time for step 3, designing the actual conversation. This is where the rubber meets the road, making the dialogue feel natural, and most importantly, getting the job done.
So designers always start by mapping out what they call the happy path.
This is the perfect, ideal, friction-free scenario where everything just goes perfectly. The bot says hello, the user clearly states what they want, the bot asks a few questions, completes the task, and then confirms it was successful. Clean, simple, and effective. But of course, we all know real conversations are messy. They're almost never that perfect. So what happens when a user makes a typo or asks a really weird question or wants to do something the bot just wasn't designed for? Yeah, the happy path is just the starting line.
This right here, this is the moment of truth. How your bot handles failures is what separates a good bot from a bad one. A bad bot just says, invalid input. A good bot says, I didn't quite get that. Could you try rephrasing? A bad bot says, error, task failed. A great bot says, it looks like something went wrong here. Would you like me to connect you with a human agent? See the difference? It's about being a helpful guide, not just a digital dead end.
And that whole idea of being a helpful guide, even when things go wrong, brings us to our final and maybe most important principle. This goes way beyond just simple functionality. It's about playing the long game, building a bot that's intelligent, ethical, and ultimately one you can trust.
Now, this simple phrase, "I'd blush if I could," might seem harmless at first, but it reveals a much, much deeper issue. For years, this was Siri's programmed response when it was called an offensive, gendered slur. A 2019 UNESCO report pointed out how this kind of submissive, female-coded response can quietly reinforce harmful biases in society. It shows that these design choices aren't just technical, they have real-world impact.
Because here's the bottom line. A bot's reaction to abusive language is a direct reflection of the brand's values. A non-response is still a response. By laughing it off or being vague, a brand can accidentally signal that it's okay with that kind of behavior. The design choices you make here tell the world what your organization will and will not tolerate.
So, how do you build that trust? Well, it really rests on these 4 key pillars. Be transparent, always say it's a bot. Actively work to reduce bias by testing with diverse user groups and datasets. Be crystal clear about data privacy and what you're doing with it. And finally, design responses to abuse that shut it down rather than endorse it.
And maybe the most important piece of the puzzle to remember is this: a great chatbot is never really done. It's a living product. It has to learn and evolve from every single conversation. You have to constantly be testing it, analyzing how real people are talking to it, and then use those insights to make it smarter and more helpful over time. And all this design and strategy and ethics, it leads us to one final really big question. As these conversational AI systems get smarter and more human-like, it makes you wonder, what's the one thing, the one uniquely human quality that a bot, no matter how intelligent it gets, will never be able to truly replicate?